Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Global Book Network, the show where we sit down with authors from all around the world and talk about their craft. Now, long-term viewers of the show know that maybe I dabble with literary arts, but I have myself a professional with me today. Please welcome the author of River Dancer Awakened, Billy Starbuck, to the show. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Thanks for having me, Flobo.
Yeah, you know what? The pleasure is all mine. We're actually talking about this before we went live. It's a good time, man, to be able to say that you're in the writers' club, but being an author is a kind of an exhilarating feeling, you know?
Absolutely.
So let's get down to brass tacks, man. Ribbon Dancer Awakened was right from the desk of you. Where did the original idea come from? When did you decide to put your words and ideas onto paper?
Well, I had two motivations. I'm motivated by music a lot. I'll hear a song and I'll think about maybe a different scene playing out in my head. And then I also was motivated by the inspirational people I live around, people who deal with developmental difficulties. And I often think these people are the unsung heroes of life. They live a happy lives. They're, like I said, they're inspirational and in how they approach life. And so I wanted someone from that area to be a hero of the story because you don't often see unsung heroes like that as a hero of a major story or
Mhm.
any like that. So I combined these two, the scene that I saw in my head when I was hearing this song, and some inspiration from some people I know in real life, and that's where I sort of came up with this character, Emily from Ribbon Dancer.
Yeah. And talk to me because Emily does not exist in the void. I mean, she's in the town of River Bend. What was the idea of like crafting that entire city or village from your idea inspirations as well?
Um, it was very organic. I created the characters first, and I sort of felt out like where they lived. I let the characters tell me about themselves, if that makes any sense at all.
Absolutely, it does.
And then I let the characters tell the story. Like I had a hunch where I thought the story was going in certain parts, but they totally blew me through a loop sometimes because I did not see it going the direction that it went. But I just like, well, it's your story, guys. You tell me where you want me to lead you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that because a lot of times you'll sit with authors and they say, yeah, once you create a character, a lot of times they'll tell you how they feel or how they want to be treated. And I guess that was kind of an organic part of crafting this. And that must have been interesting the first couple of times where you tried to write a story going one way and your character said, now hold up now, let's do something else, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So talk to me about the actual craft of it. How long did it take you to put everything together? Was it weeks? Was it months? Was it years?
Well, it took me about 4 months to put everything together to finish what I thought was my final draft, and then I entered the era of editing, which was new to me.
Hmm.
And I think I jumped the gun a little early, released it maybe a little sooner than I should have. So I released later, about 6 months later, a second edition of Ribbon Dancer, and that's where I edited I edited a little bit stronger. I threw in some things like a map of the area. I also got a sneak peek of the sequel coming out, and I added to it. But I learned a whole lot from the process, so much, and I'm taking everything I learned with me as I move forward to the next project.
No, I'm so glad you shared that because there's two things I could take away from that. And that's one, recognizing, hey, look, I want to be able to give the best version possible. It's okay to go back and to improve the book. I think a lot of authors put it out there, myself included. I mean, when I wrote my novel, Pay the Vig, it took me so long to write the first draft that I was like, I don't want to see it anymore. Just put it on the shelf. But there's something like you're like your own due diligence to go, your characters deserve better, your story deserves better. And second of all, I like the fact you're very honest with the process. It can be very arduous sometimes. A lot of lonely nights or afternoons, just making sure things work and fit together like a giant puzzle. You know.
Oh yeah, that there was a lot of nights. I stayed up. I would stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning, and then get up like at 6 the next morning because I could not stop writing once I started. I was just it had a hold of me, it wouldn't let go.
So you don't like take time. You go when the inspiration strikes when you create.
Oh yeah, I have to. I can't force it. I tried. I sat down in front of a blank screen, and try to come up with something, and nothing. Like if I don't have the inspiration, like nothing's happening.
Okay, so walk me through this. What was missing from the fantasy genre, or from the celestial genre itself, that you said, "Oh wait, no, I have an idea to really address this with a story that seems to be original."
Um, I think, like I said, the unsung heroes in our humanity around us, like people who live on the spectrum, or people who deal with different developmental difficulties, things like that. You don't often see them in stories unless they're like a punchline to a joke,
Hmm.
which is very offensive to me because I really feel strongly about this. And so I wanted a humanity, the real humanity, to be in this story, um, and to come shine through where, say that the town, when they first meet this girl, Emily, when you first meet the girl, the town's known her whole life, but she is somebody who the town doesn't revere. They, they don't give her a hard time or anything. They accept her, but they don't certainly look up to her. And by the end of the story, I don't want to give anything away, but she's just somebody who everyone aspires to be like by the end of the story. And I think that's how more modern day life should play out a lot of days.
Yeah, I mean, her brother kind of got that from day one, I guess, because you're in the same household. But the process, and again, we don't want to give everything away. The process of peeling back those layers of the society to understand people with differences can be useful, can be fruitful. What was that journey like? Did you want to make sure you hit the right tones there? Did you worry about going too far, or what was that process like of having the progression between her and the townsfolk?
Um, I still worry that I wasn't sensitive enough in certain areas because it's hard, um, because I don't live in that particular, with that particular difficulty that some
Hmm.
people live in. So I try to capture from what I see as an outsider, and try to dive into that world. And I just hope that I captured it right. I hope that I gave them the right positivity and light that people who live in that situation have. Um, I guess that's it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally understand, and I think that's in a weird way the thrill of anyone that creates. I'm a writer, yes, but I also did stand up comedy, and there's also a line you cross or have to cross where you say, "How far does this joke go?" I'm not saying your book is a joke. But I'm saying is how far do you want to push the envelope? How far you want to be back? And I do think the best works are the ones that dance. And I like the fact there was a bit of a rough around the edges relationship, at least at first, where it was like, okay, we respect Emily enough, but silly girl, like, do your thing over there, kind of a thing. And over time, having that evolve was pretty cool to check out. So, props for that. Let's talk about the familial dynamics at home. Was that just pulled from experiences you've noticed, or was that something that was personal to you between her and her brother?
Um, it was it's a strong family situation. Is I wanted to have in there, um, a pure love of siblings, of like their mother is ill, their father is hard working trying to support a family when he had to deal with the difficulties of his situation, and just I wanted to feel real, and I wanted to feel positive, and so that's what I was hoping to capture as far as the family dynamic.
Yeah. I gotta say, when you were going through the second edition, the most recent edition, when did you decide that this was a complete idea for now? Because you can always go back and revise it. But when did you decide, like, look, this is the version I want to present to the public and have people really get themselves locked into the world of urban dance?
Well, I loved the story, but I think it could have been told a lot smoother in certain areas. I reread that book at least 10 times. Like,
Yeah.
I went through that book so many times trying to find different ways I could have rephrased it, or I could have made a sentence more clear, or I could have uh, been more grammatically correct, shall I say, in certain how I word things out. Uh, I wanted it to be as good as it could be because I learned so much of the writing experience. Um, I finished the second book now, and I applied everything I learned to the second book. So after I finished the second book, I went back to the first. I'm like, no, this has got to stand up stronger to 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 be able to hold up the second book. And so it took me, like I said, about 6 months to go through it continually. I had multiple people picking it apart and find everything they could find until I
Oh man,
did exactly how I wanted it.
yeah, that must have been scary. Like, hey man, just cut my heart out and tell me what you think.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh man, was it amicable? Was it fine, or was it really like some nights were challenging with some of the reviews?
Oh well, I was very surprised. I got all positive reviews. I know that can't be right. I mean, there's got to be some people out there who didn't like certain things about it, and maybe they were just afraid to hurt my feelings. I don't know, but uh, all the reviews I got, all the input I got was all positive. There was only a few. Well, maybe you should change this. Maybe you change that. Maybe this seems a little bit too scary. Let's lighten it up a little bit.
Hmm.
Just a few things like that. But I was surprised at how much positivity I actually received from letting this book out.
I like positivity. It's cool.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about building the lore, right? Like there's certain elements that you have to decide. Now it's a franchise that you have to decide to maybe plant seeds, have grow, or have things this be contained in one particular story or a section of a story. Was that something that evolved naturally over time, or were things like concerted from page one that you wanted to have for later?
Um, it evolved from a scene that I saw in my head when I listened to. Uh, you ever heard of Flash Dancer from Irina Carly? I think that's her name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, that song, when I hear that song, I picture this scene of Emily dancing to that song, and I pictured, the nemesis of the story, and I pictured the arc and the different parts of the story, and so that played out in my head, and it sort of told me where it wanted to go, like I said earlier, and the world itself sort of told me where to place everything, like how the magic worked, what the story was, what the rules were, and you find a lot of that out more in the second book that's coming that I'm really excited about.
So it definitely was a mix of like the organics versus the we're gonna plant this, and that's pretty cool. That's really awesome. And I'm with you, man. My first novel, not to make it about me, my first novella was based on a Rob Thomas song, if you can imagine that. And I built a
Oh
whole
yeah,
world.
I love
Yeah,
Rob
the,
Thomas.
the, the one he did with Santana. I did the whole thing
Oh
about.
yeah, I know exactly what song you're talking about too.
Yeah, yeah, it was a neo western because I wanted to have that southwestern vibe, but set in present day. And I get it. Sometimes a song is an inspiration, but then it also becomes a foundation to a building block, something that you can't even describe in 3 minutes or less, which is pretty cool, man.
Hmm.
You touched upon this though, and in your estimation, what makes a good or great villain? Like, how do you craft that to really challenge your protagonist?
Well, a great villain is a villain that you can understand, because the truth is there is no one says, "Oh, I'm the villain, I'm the bad guy in the story," unless you're in a cheesy story. uh, Everyone has a point of view. Everyone has a way of seeing things from their own perspective that could often differ from the way the world sees that perspective. And so you got to, the way I see it, uh, explain this nemesis, or the the antithesis of the hero. You got to explain where they're coming from, why they feel the way they feel, how they got to their belief that where they're at now. Obviously there's something that led them to their disparity, that led them to believe the way they are, the way their actions are. And so I think you just have to explain their point of view and somehow get people to maybe relate if they try really hard.
Yeah. Did you worry about creating a villain that was like beloved at all? Like, oh man, if I recreate Darth Vader and everyone's like, oh man, this guy's pretty cool, or is that something like, no, that doesn't really happen because there's certain things villains do that heroes just don't.
um Man, there's so much I don't want to give away.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I understand. It's a rich
There,
story. So
there is. I don't think you're in danger of falling in love with the villain in the story, but I think that at some points you could definitely sympathize with him.
yeah, yeah, no, I totally get that. A lot of people use the example of like the anti-villain, right? Someone who's actually a good person, but through that they have their own self-preservation, gets seen as a villain. I guess like Killmonger and Black Panther was one of the more recent
Mhm.
examples, and I totally get that. It's like sometimes when you're crafting that, you want to be crafting a villain, you want to make sure you challenge the protagonist, but you may have so many desires to make them seem her that they may come across as relatable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you said that the writing process was something that you were kind of went shoulder first and you knee deep in. But talk to me about the actual structure of things. Were you someone that had like the big board on the wall of chapters, which is just kind of like sit down and remember your place and lock in and write from then on? I'm just very curious of how you got so many different elements in play, juggling them as you were writing your story.
Well, I told my cousin I was going to do this. I'm going to give her a shout out as to how the whole thing started. She,
Okay.
Jeanette Huffman, she, my cousin, I love her to death. She wrote a story, and I said, because me and my cousin, we were like twins when we were in high school. We were so close, and I thought to myself, well, if she can do it, I can do it. Writing a story is something I wanted to do my entire adult life. I'd sit down at times and I couldn't go through with it. I would have writer's block. I would have something in the way. And I just had an inspiration given to me from my cousin that, I believe I can do this. I really believe. So I sat down, and at first I thought, well, let me come up with these notes and outlines and all that stuff. And then I just scrapped it. I said, no, just do it. Like he says in those Nike commercials, just do it.
Right.
And so I just started writing, and I just like, it sounds terrible, but I just do a word vomit on a page,
You
just
have
like,
to.
just throw everything out, and it did take it apart later. But I just had to just go and just start. And the writing, it was so easy to go back to it later and say, okay, this is good. This is good. I'm getting somewhere. I like this. I don't like that. But you can't do that if you don't have words to use. You got to have something to start with.
Yeah. What was holding you back, if you don't mind me asking? Just a personal question.
Oh, a lot of self-destructive behavior, a lot of, depression, and can I do this, and no confidence. And like, I had all these great ideas. At least I thought they were great. I used to tell stories to my wife all the time. Later, to have her go to sleep at night, I would tell these stories I'd come up with. And like I say, my dedication. I used to tell stories all the time from when I was a little kid. I dedicated to my aunt Bobby, who recently just passed. But uh, she was like the first person who really listened to my stories. I mean, a lot of people listened, but she was like, she'd ask me about when I'd meet her, and like, tell me more, what happened to this next story, tell me about that. And so I had my whole life, I wanted to tell these stories. I just never had the confidence to go forward and to do it until, I guess, there was a dam that broke when I saw my cousin doing it, and I was like, well, I can do it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess if someone's watching right now, they're on the fence. You can tell them that, hey, confidence is it's part of the game, but you can do it.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely,
Yeah,
yes, you can
yeah,
do it. Anybody can do it.
yeah.
Yes. And if I might add, the world needs you. I mean, you look at Hollywood, and it's just the same story rehashed over and over and over again. And I'm like, this is just old. We need some new, fresh ideas. And so if you're watching today, and you have like this idea in your head, just do it. The world needs you.
I love that. I love that, man. So we're talking about Ribbon Dancer Awakened. And let me ask you this. If someone is checking this out on internet and just want to get to know more about you or pick up a copy of the book, how they go about doing that there.
Well, I linked everything through my website, billystarbuck.com. There I have audiobooks and ebooks available for purchase right off the website. And if you want a physical copy, paperback, hardback, I have the links there that go to my Amazon site. Um, and so you can also, they're also available through Walmart and other areas, if you specifically punch it in. But I'm trying to steer everything through my website because it's easy to track and manage. And so billystarbuck.com is definitely the place to go to find the latest information. I have blogs there. I have behind the scenes footage. I have a newsletter that I send out. And so if you want to find out more about me, about my stories, just go to billystarbuck.com, and I'll get you hooked up with everything you need.
BillyStarbuck.com. Bookmark it. Always good things coming out of the pipe, especially with that second book in the wings, right?
Yeah.
So thank you so much for spending your time here on Global Book Network. River Dancer Awakens available now. Of course, BillyStarbuck.com. And just being able to sit down with the author themselves to really ask them the process behind it has been a treat for me. So appreciate that.
Oh, definitely. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right. Ending stream now. Oh man, easy peasy, fresh and